Okay, for the second part of our mastery session, we have the blood banking. So same po with Immunotero, meron din po tayong mga important personalities here in blood banking. So yung ating mga recall question about this one. So first, the Pope who was recorded to perform the first transfusion. So A, Pope John Paul, C, Pope Pius, C, Pope Innocent VII, or letter D, Pope Benedict. So for this question, the correct answer would be letter C po, we have Pope Innocent VII. Siya po yung Pope, no, na nakapag-perform po ng first blood transfusion. So in 1492, blood was taken from three young men and given to the stricken Pope Innocent VII in the hope of curing him. And unfortunately, all four died. So yun po yung history natin about first blood transfusion. And unfortunately, no, unsuccessful po ito. Unsuccessful kasi namatay po lahat. Yung doon, namatay po silang lahat. And this is from Harmening, 7th edition, page number 2. Okay, another question. So reported the use of sodium citrate as an anticoagulant solution for transfusion in 1914. So A. Huston, B. Edward Lendeman, C. Lewison, or letter D. Rouse and Turner. So for this one, yung nag-report daw po ng paggamit ng sodium citrate as anticoagulant, yan po si Huston. So ito po yung ating reference for this question. So this is from Harmening pa din, Modern Blood Banking and Transfusion Practices. 7th edition, page number 2. So si Huston po reported the use of sodium citrate as an anticoagulant solution for transfusion. And si Lewison naman po, nakalagay dito, in 1915, si Lewison naman determined the minimum amount of citrate needed for anticoagulation. So ito po yung mga important personalities natin. But before dyan, meron pa po pala tayong another recall. We have Braxton and Hicks recommended the use of sodium phosphate po yung answer dito. Sodium phosphate. Braxton and Hicks recommended the use of sodium phosphate. So ito pong sodium citrate, kakasabi lang natin kanina, no? Kay Huston po ito, para po ito kay Huston. And the minimum amount of citrate. So si Huston po, siya yung nag-recommend ng paggamit ng sodium citrate. Pero ang citrate po kasi toxic yan. Toxic po yan. Kapag masyadong madami or kapag ginamit in excess. So ang nag-recommend naman po ng paggamit ng minimum amount of citrate is si Lewison. Si Lewison. And yung acid citrate dextrose naman po, para po ito kay Lautet and Mollison. Lautet and Mollison. So yun po yung mga important personalities natin in blood banking. So first blood transfusion, yan po si Pope Innocent VII in 1492. So recommended sodium phosphate as a blood preservative, yan po si Braxton and Hicks, and discover the ABO blood group system, and the author of specificity of serological reaction, yan po si Karl Landsteiner. So pakitandaan po, siya po yung author ng book na Specificity of Serological Reaction, si Karl Landsteiner po yan. Then use sodium citrate as an anticoagulant solution, si Huston po yan noong 1914, and determine the minimum amount of citrate needed for blood preservation, yan po si Lewison, 1915. So next, introduce the citrate dextrose preservative, yan po si Rouse and Turner in 1916. The director of the first American Red Cross Blood Bank, Dr. Charles Drew, introduced the acid citrate dextrose preservative, we have Lautet and Mollison. Noong 1943 naman po ito, and introduced the citrate phosphate dextrose preservative. Si Gibson po yan, 1957. And sodium phosphate, si Braxton and Hick. And may add lang po tayo, no, si Dr. Edwin Con. Si Dr. Edwin Con. So si Dr. Edwin Con po, siya po yung nag-develop, no, ng mga apheresis machine. Siya po yung nag-develop ng apheresis machine. Then si Dr. Yves Lapierre. So for sure po ito, kilala nyo, si Yves Lapierre. So si Yves Lapierre po, siya naman po yung nag-develop ng gel test. So ito po gamit na gamit po natin ang gel test ngayon sa blood bank po sa mga nung nag-intern po tayo. Dr. Yves Lapierre, siya po yung nag-develop ng gel test in 1985. And paad na rin po si Descatelio, and Spurley. Descatelio and Spurley. Sila naman po yung nag-define ng fourth blood group system. Sila po yung nag-define ng fourth group. Yung fourth group po under ng ABO blood group system, yan po yung AB blood group system. Pakitandaan, Descatelio and Spurley, sila po yung nag-define ng fourth ABO blood group. Under po ng ABO blood group system, yung AB po, yung AB blood group. And now for the genetics. So what is the Mendel's first law? So napakasimple po ng question about genetics. So A, law of segregation, B, law of dominance, or letter C, law of assortment. So for this one, the correct answer would be letter A po, we have segregation. So this is from Modern Blood Banking and Transfusion Practices, 7th edition, page 642. So the Mendel's law. So the classical principle of inheritance defined by the Moravian monk Gregor Mendel in 1866. And the first law of genetics, yan nga po yung law of segregation. That's the law of segregation. And what about the second law? Meron po tayong tinatawag na second law. Yung second law po according kay Harmening, yan po yung law of independent assortment. So ito pong assortment, ito po yung ating second law. Yung segregation, this is the first law. And the law of dominance, this is the third Mendel's law. Yan po yung third Mendel's law. Okay, for the chromosomes po, additional info lang po ito. So yung total number of chromosomes on a single healthy human is 46. Sabi po kasi na 23 dito kapag pairs. Pero kapag single, 46. Di ba 23 times 2 is equal to 46. Di ba sa isang pares, meron po tayong dalawa. So kung 23 pairs po yun ng chromosome, so ibig sabihin meron po tayong 46 individual or 46 single chromosome. And yung 22 po doon, yan po yung number ng autosome a single human will inherit from each parent. And yung total number po ng autosomes a single human have 44. Kasi po yung dalawa doon, yun po yung mga sex chromosome. So pakitandaan po 44 yung mga autosome and dalawa naman yung sex chromosome. Yun nga po yung XX and the XY chromosome. And yung kino-consider po natin na father of genetics, yun po si Gregor Mendel. And pakitandaan, lumabas na rin po ito sa board exam, yung inheritance po ng most blood group system such as ABO, yung mga RH po natin, they are co-dominant. Na-inherit po sila as co-dominant. So ito po sinasabi ko kanina na meron po tayong 22 pairs ng autosome. So in total, meron tayong 44 individual autosomes and we have 2 pairs of sex chromosomes. So 2 pairs of sex chromosome or 4 individual sex chromosomes. So again, no, we have 2 pairs of sex chromosomes sa kapag babae, XX lang. And kapag lalaki, XY lang. So meron po tayong isa pong set ng chromosome. It's either kapag babae po or lalaki. And the first Mendel law of independent or random segregation. Yan po yung other term natin for the law of segregation. The first Mendel law. So sinasabi po dito that the parental genes must separate randomly and equally into gametes during meiosis, so there is an equal chance of the offspring inheriting either allele. And next, we have the second Mendel law, the law of independent assortment. And the third law, we have the law of dominance. So pakitandaan po ano lumabas po sa board exam, yung first Mendel law. Okay, next, the simplest type of mutation in which only one nucleotide in the DNA sequence is changed. So ano po kayang term yun? So for this one, the correct answer po is point mutation. Point mutation po yung hinahanap natin for this one. And ito po yung ating reference dito, Modern Blood Banking and Transfusion pa din po, 7th edition, page number 35. And there are different types of mutations, and they may have very different consequences for the organism in which they occur. So mutations can also be spontaneous. And if they occur in the germinal tissue, they are passed on from one generation to the next. And the simplest type, so yung simplest type po ng mutation is the point mutation. Yan po yung simplest type of mutation, the point mutation, in which only one nucleotide in the DNA sequence is changed. So ito po yung mga terminologies na ginagamit natin for the different types of mutation. Ito po yung point mutation. Ito po yung lumabas sa board exam. Meron tayong missense point mutation and the nonsense mutation. So point mutation, ito po yung simplest type ng mutation in which only one nucleotide in the DNA sequence is changed. So isa lang daw po isang nucleotide lang po yung nag-change doon sa may DNA sequence. And yung point mutation, pakitandaan it includes the substitution, the insertion of, or deletion. Yan po yung mga pwedeng under po ng point mutation. Substitute, napalitan, in-insert, dinagdagan, deletion, binawasan. Yan po yung ating point mutation. And next, we have the missense point mutation. Ito naman po yung type of mutation that can have a deleterious effect on the peptide sequence. So deleterious effect po yung ating term for this one. Results in a change in a codon which alters the amino acid in the corresponding peptide. Then nonsense mutation, so it is a very specific type of serious mutation. Yun po yung nonsense mutation. So nonsense siya, pero type po ito ng serious mutation. So specific type po ito ng serious mutation. Results when a change in one of the nucleotide of the DNA sequence cause one of the 3 possible stop codons to be formed. And for translocation, so transfer of a portion of one chromosome on its allele, so translocation. So ito po hindi ko naman to talaga naiintindihan. So ang kailangan lang natin gawin dito is tandaan po yung mga keywords po. Keywords po yung kailangan natin tandaan. So yung simplest type, point mutation, deleterious effect, the missense point mutation, and yung serious type naman po, yung serious mutation, yan po yung nonsense mutation. So another recall about genetics. So nung board exam po namin ito lumabas, so when a piece of chromosome breaks off or cut off and is transferred to another chromosome, it is called, ito pinasa kanina, we have translocation po. So ito po yung ating reference for this one. Yung ginamit po nung ating board of examiner is yung word na cut off po, yung word po na cut off. Pero kung babasahin po natin yung definition of sa ating book, translocation is when a piece of chromosome breaks off and is transferred to another chromosome. So yun po yung ating translocation. So ganun po yung ating mga board of examiner. No? Minsan po, binabago po nila yung mga keywords, pero same meaning lang naman po sila. So breaks off or cut off. So next, ito po, sobrang strange nito, no? Kasi nagtanong po sila ng law dito po sa ating ISBB. Pero yung law naman na tinanong nila is about blood banking. So law in 1994 that regulates blood bank in the Philippines. So A, blood banking law, or letter B, National Blood Services Act. So yun lang pinatandaan ko, pero yung letter C, hindi nakalimutan ko po yung mga choices. So for this one, the correct answer would be letter B po, we have the National Blood Services Act. So yun po yung law in 1994 that regulates blood banks in the Philippines. So ito pong blood banking law, ito pong blood banking law, noong 1956 po yan, 1956. Pero ito pong National Blood Services Act, yan po yung law noong 1994. So ito po yung dalawang batas natin about blood banking here in the Philippines. We have the RA 1517 or the Blood Banking Law of 1956. So yung date nito, June 16, 1956, and it has 7 sections. It has 7 sections. And we have President Magsaysay, siya po yung nag-sign nung law na to. And RA 7719 or the National Blood Services Act of 1994, yung date po nito is May 5, 1994, and it has 15 sections. And yung mga president po dito na nag-sign nito is si Ramos po, si Fidel V. Ramos. And for the components of blood preservative, so substrate for ATP production in RBC blood bags. So ang keyword natin dito is yung word po na substrate. Substrate po yung ating keyword. So A, dextrose, B, adenine, C, citrate, or letter D, citric acid. Okay, for this one, the correct answer is letter A po, dextrose. So again, our keyword here is the word substrate. Substrate po, this is from Harmening, 7th edition, page number 9. So nakalagay po dyan, citrate or the sodium citrate or citric acid, it chelates calcium and it prevents clotting. So monobasic sodium phosphate, it maintains the pH during the storage. And dextrose nga po, ito po yung substrate na kailangan po for ATP production. Ginagamit po yan for cellular energy. And adenine, it is used for production of ATP. And it extends the shelf life from 21 to 35 days. And for the components of blood preservative, ito po yung nasa notes ninyo. This is from Henry's po. Nakuha ko to from Henry's. So citrate, it acts as anticoagulant and chelates calcium. So ginamit po ang citrate, una pong ginamit ang citrate in blood banking noong 1914. Then yung dextrose naman po provides energy or glucose to red blood cell, yun nga po yung ATP, at ginagamit natin tong substrate for ATP production. And noong 1916 po ito, 1916. Then citric acid. So 1916 po yung dextrose, by Rose. Si Rose po o Rouse, siya po yung first na gumamit po ng dextrose in 1916. Then citric acid naman, it lowers the pH, obviously, kasi nga acid to. It lowers the pH, thus prevent caramelization. Ito pong citric acid, para naman po ito kay Lautet. Lautet and Mollison noong 1913, and monosodium or monobasic sodium phosphate, it maintains the pH during storage, and necessary po ito for maintenance of adequate levels of the 2,3-DPG, and it also increases the ATP level. So ito pong monobasic sodium phosphate, noong 1957 po ito, 1957 kay Gibson. 1957 kay Gibson. And for adenine, production of ATP, so it improves the RBC survival from 21 to 35 days. And additional recall po, order of draw for cholesterol, TT, and APTT and CBC. So medyo strange po ito, ito pong order of draw. Natanong to before sa HEMA. Tapos nagtanong po sila ng order of draw dito po sa blood banking. So cholesterol, TT, and APTT, and CBC. So isa-isahin po natin ng cholesterol. Anong top po ba ang ginagamit? Color, red or yellow. Since sa choices wala pong yellow, so gold po pala, red or gold, so red po yung gagamitin natin. So magkaiba po ang yellow sa gold. Ang gold po ginagamit yan sa clinical chemistry. Then TT and APTT, ginagamit naman po ito sa HEMA for coagulation, yung color blue top, then yung CBC sa HEMA rin po ito, yan po yung color purple or lavender. Color purple or lavender. Di ba meron po tayong ginagamit na mnemonic, yung busyness. Busyness po, ito na-discuss ko po ito sa clinical chemistry, yung order of draw po. So B is for the blood culture, C is for citrate, N is for non-additive, H is for heparin, E for EDTA, and S is for sodium chloride. So E po for EDTA, so ibig sabihin ito po yung lavender. Then yung C is for citrate. So dito po natin gagamitin yung blue top. And yung N naman po is for non-additive, dyan po yung red top. So ibig sabihin po, mauuna po yung blue top, followed by red top, and last po yung lavender top. So yung answer natin for this one is letter A, blue, red, and lavender. And next topic, for the normal whole blood volume of ideal body weight in grams. So a unit containing a volume of 405 to 550 ml should weigh blank. So A, 500, B, 450, or letter C, 400. Okay, yung answer po natin dito, for this question is letter A po, 500. So ito po yung sinabi sa Harmening 7th edition, page number 9. So when the primary bag has stripped the scale, the donor can stop squeezing and tubing can be clumped. And a unit containing volume of 405 to 550 ml should weigh between 429 and 583 grams, plus the weight of the container and anticoagulant. And the conversion po na ginagamit natin is 1.06 grams per ml. And it's used to convert grams, ginagamit po natin yung 1.06 to convert yung grams into milliliters. And if the volume collected is in the low volume range, 300 to 404 ml in a 450 ml collection, or 333 to 449 ml in a 500 ml collection, the unit must be labeled as low volume unit. So pakitandaan po kapag short draw, kapag konti po yung nakuha natin, ililabel po natin yan as low volume unit. So paano po nakuha, paano nakuha yung 500? Paano po nakuha yung 500? So ito pong 1.06, no, ito pong 1.06 na grams per ml. Ito po kasi yung, meron po tayong basis dyan. Meron po tayong basis dyan. Yan po yung average specific gravity of the human blood. That's the average specific gravity of the human blood. So yun po yung gagamitin natin na to convert yung to convert po ano yung ating given from ml to gram, from ml to gram. So kukunin po natin yung average nito, no? So 405 plus 550, 405 plus 550, 405 plus 550 is equal to 955. Again po, ano kukunin natin yung average is equal to 955. 955. Tapos, i-divide po natin sa 2. 955 divided by 2 is equal to 477.5. 477.5. And yung gagawin po natin, no, yung 450 ml, kailangan po natin siyang i-convert, no, into grams. So ano po yung gagamitin natin? Yung 1.06 po, yung 1.06 na average specific gravity of human blood. So yung unit niya is gram per ml, grams per ml. So i-cancel po yan. So 450 times 1.06 is equal to 477. So that's equal to 477. So pinakamalapit po ano? So meron po tayong 477 dito. So 477, ang gagawin natin 477, ita times natin sa 1.06. So mag-share po ako ng white screen, no? So yung nakuha nating average kanina, no, again, kukunin po natin yung average ng 405. Mag-share po ako ng white screen para mas clear po sa atin. So again, yung given po natin, no, yung given po natin sa may choices is 405 to 550. Para mas clear po sa atin, 405 plus 550. So i-average po natin siya. 405 plus 550 is equal to 995 divided by 2 is equal to 477.5. So ito po yung ating average volume ng blood kasi naka-range po siya. So 477.5 ml times 1.06 grams per ml. So cancel po natin, cancel. So 477 times 1.06, so that's equal to 505.15 grams. 505.15 grams. So yun po yung reason kung bakit 500 po yung answer natin for this question. So yun po kasi yung pinakamalapit, no? Yun po yung pinakamalapit sa 500. 505.62. So again, ito lang din po yung nasa notes kanina. Yung nasa may pinakita kong reference kanina, 1.06 po yung gagamitin nating conversion factor. So yung 1.06 grams per ml po na yan po yung ating specific gravity, the average specific gravity for the blood. Okay, next. For the amount of anticoagulants needed for a 250 ml of blood. So A, 29 ml, B, 32 ml, C, 35 ml, or letter D, 28 ml. So for this one, the correct answer po, ano, we have letter C, 35 ml, 35 ml. And ito po yung ating reference for this one. Ito po yung ating magiging formula. So para mas magets po natin, no, isa-isahin po natin siya. So amount of anticoagulant needed for a 250 ml of blood. So, ibig sabihin, short draw po ito, short draw. Short draw po siya. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan nating i-adjust yung amount ng anticoagulant. So, ang gagawin natin, ito po yung formula, no? Ito po yung formula for the reduced volume of anticoagulant. So, volume to collect. So, yung volume po na na-collect is 250 ml. 250 ml divided by 450. So, constant po yan. Constant yan to na 450 times 63. Times 63 ml. So, 250 times 63 divided by 450 is equal to 35. So again po, 250 times 63 divided by 450 is equal to 35. So ito na po ngayon yung ating reduced volume of anticoagulant. So kailangan lang po natin ng 35 ml. Kailangan lang po natin ng 35 ml na anticoagulant for this blood. And additional recall din po, wavelength of light used in device for vein detection. So for this one, the answer is near infrared. So yung answer natin dito, near infrared. So mababasa po natin dito, NIR or near infrared vein finder aids in locating the vein. And next for the RDP versus the SDP. So single donor platelet contains a therapeutic equivalent of blank random donor platelet. So A2 to 4, B4 to 6, C6 to 8, or letter D, 8 to 10. So for this one, the correct answer po is letter... Actually, ito po, hindi ko alam kung ano yung isasagot ninyo. Kasi dalawa po yung sagot dito. It's either B or C. Depende po yan sa reference. So sa blood banking po kasi na book by Harmening, magkaiba po yung sinasabi. Ang sabi po sa 7th edition, page 404, an apheresis platelet unit is equivalent to 6 to 8. So according po yan sa page 404 ni Harmening 7th edition. Pero yung sabi po sa page 339 pa rin ni Harmening, so whole blood derived platelet concentrate should contain at least 5.5 times 10 raised to 5 platelets. And yung apheresis naman po, or the single donor platelet contains at least 3 times 10 raised to 11 platelets. So ibig sabihin po nun, yung kanyang therapeutic equivalent is 4 to 6 random donor platelets. And magkaiba po yung sinasabi. 4 to 6 or 6 to 8. So if ever po naalabas sa board exam ninyo, so kayo na po yung bahala kung ano po yung isasagot ninyo. And for the difference between the random donor platelet and single donor platelet for when it comes to preparation. So yung random donor platelet, pina-prepare po yan through centrifugation. So na-prepare po ito through centrifugation. So yung centrifugation dito ng whole blood, so light spin po muna, and after po nun, tsaka tayo magpe-perform ng heavy spin. And for the single donor platelet naman po, na-prepare to through platelet pheresis. And yung amount po ng blood for the random donor platelet, 5.5 times 10 raised to 10. And for the single donor platelet, 3.0 times 10 raised to 11 platelets. And for the volume of plasma, 50 to 75. And 300 naman po for the single donor platelet. And yung pH po nila, 6.2. 6.2 yung kanilang pH. And for the storage, 20 to 24 degrees Celsius, room temperature po ang ating mga platelets at kailangan pong nakastore yan with agitation. So kailangan kailangan pong i-agitate natin yung mga platelets. And their shelf life is 5 days. 5 days po yung shelf life. Basta nakalagay po sa room temp, 20 to 24 degrees Celsius and with agitation. So next, cryoprecipitate is for the efficiency of what factor? So A factor 8, B factor 9, C factor 11, or letter D, all coagulation factor. So para saan daw ginagamit no ang cryoprecipitate? Okay, for this one, the correct answer is letter A po ano factor 8. So marami po tayong pwedeng paggamitan no ng cryoprecipitate. Usually po sa mga fibrinogen group. Sa fibrinogen group po natin to ginagamit. So ano-ano po bang mga factors yung under ng fibrinogen group? Diba nandun po yung factor 1, yun po yung fibrinogen. Ginagamit po natin no, ang cryoprecipitate for fibrinogen. Ito po siya no, sa factor 13, sa von Willebrand factor, sa factor 8, sa cryoglobulin, and fibronectin. So yan po ano, yung pwede nating ma-harvest. Yan po yung mga clotting factors na pwede po nating ma-harvest sa cryoprecipitate. So factor 8, fibrinogen, factor 13, von Willebrand factor, cryoglobulin, and fibronectin. So this is from Harmening 7th edition, page 342. And for the difference between the cryoprecipitate and fresh frozen plasma. So fresh frozen plasma, yung kanya pong indication, ano, it corrects multiple coagulation factor deficiency. So multiple daw po. And it replaces isolated factor deficiencies when specific component is not available. At ginagamit po natin no, ang fresh frozen plasma to reverse the effects po ano ng warfarin anticoagulant drug. And yung kanyang storage is negative 18 degrees Celsius or negative 65. So depende po ano kung anong temperature so natin ilalagay yung kanyang shelf life. For example, na-store natin at negative 18 degrees Celsius. So yung kanyang shelf life po ngayon is pwede po siyang umabot ng 1 year. Pero kapag na-store natin to at negative 65 degrees Celsius, so yung kanyang magiging shelf life is 7 years. And cryoprecipitate, indication po nito, ginagamit po ito no, for treatment of fibrinogen deficiency, hemophilia A, von Willebrand disease, and factor 13 deficiency. And yung storage po natin dito, negative 18 degrees Celsius, ang shelf life po niya is 1 year. And for the blood component of choice for the IgA negative person, paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria. So A, wash red blood cells, B, fresh frozen plasma, C, irradiated blood, or letter D, cryoprecipitate. Okay, for this one, the correct answer po is letter A po, ano, wash red blood cell. So wash red blood cell, yan po yung ginagamit natin na component of choice for IgA negative persons with paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria. So ito po ano, wash red blood cell. Yung RBC naman na leukoreduce, ginagamit po natin yan doon sa mga taong may febrile reaction. And yung RBC naman na irradiated, ginagamit po yan to prevent the graft versus host disease. The graft and versus host disease. So ito po yung ating answer. Wash red blood cells, ginagamit po yan for IgA negative person. So balikan lang po natin yung kanina, ito pong fresh frozen plasma and cryoprecipitate. So kapag tod na yung ating fresh frozen plasma, so 24 hours po yung magiging shelf life na lang niya. Pakitandaan no, kapag tinunaw na po natin ang fresh frozen plasma, yung kanyang shelf life na lang is 24 hours. What about dito sa mga cryoprecipitate? Sa cryoprecipitate po kasi meron tayong tinatawag na pooled. So pooled. Kapag pinold natin yung cryoprecipitate, yung kanya pong shelf life na lang is 4 hours. Pero kapag tino, yung cryoprecipitate, yung kanyang shelf life na lang po is 6 hours. So bakit tandaan po na kapag pinold, yung cryoprecipitate 4 hours, pero kapag tino, 6 hours pa din po siya. So paano sir kapag parehas tino, tapos pinold pa, cold and thawed? So ang shelf life na lang po niya, kukunin natin yung pinakamababa, yung pinakamababang shelf life. So yung shelf life po na yun is 4 hours. Pakitandaan no kapag pinold na at tinod pa, yung pinakamababa po na shelf life yung kukunin which is 4 hours. Okay, additional recall po tayo dito. So factor 9 concentrate is held at what temperature or degree Celsius? So A, 1 to 6, B, negative 18, C, 20 to 22, or letter D, negative 65. So for this one, the correct answer po, we have letter A, 1 to 6 degrees Celsius. 1 to 6 degrees Celsius. Then po, yung ating factor 8 concentrate storage temperature. So it's factor 9, I'm sorry, factor 9 concentrate storage temperature. Additional recall, ito na po yung ating answer. So what is the transport temperature for whole blood unit? So yung answer po natin dyan is 1 to 10 degrees Celsius. Ang question po kasi, transport temperature. Magkaiba po kasi ang storage temperature, ang storage temp, versus the transport temperature. Transport temp for our whole blood. So ang storage temperature is 1 to 6 degrees Celsius. And the transport temperature naman is 1 to 10 degrees Celsius. So yung ating reference for this one is the for this one is the textbook of clinical chemistry, page 1744. So makikita po natin dito na yung storage temperature natin for the whole blood and for the packed red cells is 1 to 6 degrees Celsius and the transport temperature naman is 1 to 10 degrees Celsius. 1 to 10 degrees Celsius. And for the blood component characteristics, so naka-summarize na po yan sa may table na to. So naka-insert po yan dyan sa may notes ninyo. So again, the storage temperature is 1 to 6 degrees Celsius. So pakibasa na lang po ito na yung mga blood component characteristics. So mas know po yan na marami pong lumalabas dito sa board exam. So ito pong IgA, yung IgA negative persons, wash red blood cells po yung gagamitin natin. And ito rin po, yung ating ROGAM or yung RHIG, yung kanyang shelf life po is 2 years. Bakit nandaan? Ang shelf life po ng RHIG or ng ROGAM is 2 years. Basta nakalagay po siya sa refrigerator temperature which is 1 to 6 degrees Celsius. And for the blood component shelf life summary, ito po yung ating mga questions dito. So fresh frozen plasma stored at negative 65 degrees Celsius. So ano raw po yung magiging shelf life? So A, 1 year, B, 5 years, C, 7 years, or letter D, 10 years. So yung ating answer for this one is letter C po, 7 years. So kapag negative 65, nasabi ko na ito kanina, kapag negative 65 degrees Celsius, 7 years po ang magiging shelf life. Pero kapag na-store natin ang fresh frozen plasma at negative 18 degrees Celsius, yung kanyang magiging shelf life is 1 year. 1 year po, if at negative 18 degrees Celsius. And for the shelf life of the frozen red blood cells, so 1 year, 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years. Pero ito po, lumabas po ng board exam namin, pero hindi po ganyan yung pagkakatanong. So naka-situational po, naka-situational type yung ating question. But Yung dapat po nating tandaan, no, ano raw po yung shelf life ng frozen red blood cells? So the answer is letter D po, 10 years. Yan po yung may pinakamahabang shelf life na blood component, yung ating frozen red blood cells. 10 years. Negative 65 degrees Celsius, pwede po yung umabot ng up to 10 years. And for the CPDA1 shelf life, so additional recall, what is the shelf life of the CPDA1? So A, 21 days, B, 35 days, C, 42 days, or letter D, 41 days. So again, 21, 35, 42, or letter D, 1 year. So for this one, the correct answer po, we have letter B, 35 days. Then po yung shelf life ng ating CPD A1, 35 days. So ito po nakalagay po yan from Harmening, no? Blood Banking, page 343. Kapag CPD, citrate phosphate dextrose, 21 days. Kapag CPD A1, 35 days. Kapag naman CP2D, 21 days, ACD 21 days, and kapag meron tayong mga additives such as ES, 42 days po, 42 days yung magiging shelf life po yan, 42 days. So yung ES po na yan po yung ating adsol. Yung adsol po yan, mga additives po yan na pwedeng pahabain po yung shelf life up to 42 days. And yung kanilang storage temperature po, still 1 to 6 degrees Celsius. And for their shelf life, so acid citrate dextrose, citrate phosphate dextrose, or the CPD, citrate phosphate double dextrose, or the CP2D, yung kanila pong shelf life is 21 days. 21 days po yung kanilang shelf life. And for the citrate phosphate adenine, or the CPDA1, 35 days, CPDA2, 42 days, and the Adsol, Nutricel, Optisol, Sol-X, the shelf life is 42 days. So open system, 24 hours, and the wash red blood cell, 24 hours din po. So again, pag open system, no, kapag nabuksan po natin yung ating blood unit, yung kanyang shelf life po is mababago. So magiging 24 hours na lang. So ganun din po kapag winash natin yung mga cells, such as dito po sa mga wash red blood cells, 24 hours na lang din yung magiging shelf life. And for the ROGAM, ito po yung sinabi kong lumabas sa board exam, no, yung ROGAM, basta po nakastore yan at 1 to 6 degrees Celsius. So yung kanyang shelf life is 2 years po yan, 2 years for the ROGAM. And for the fresh frozen plasma and cryoprecipitate, 1 year. And for the platelet concentrate naman po, 5 days at room temperature with agitation. So basta po merong agitation, no, yan po yung para sa mga platelets. And yung granulocyte concentrate naman, room temperature din po yan. So parehas po, parehas ang platelets at yung mga white blood cells na dapat naka-store at room temperature. Ang pinagkaiba po nila, ang granulocyte isang araw lang, ang platelets 5 days. Ang platelet may agitation, ang granulocyte concentrate wala. Wala pong agitation for the granulocyte concentrate. And for the frozen red blood cell, 10 years po yung shelf life niya. And for the glycerolized blood, 24 hours naman. 24 hours open system. So next question about irradiated blood. So ano raw po yung ginagamit natin to irradiate blood? So dalawa po yan, no? It's either cesium 137 or the cobalt-60. Yan po yung ginagamit natin to irradiate yung mga blood components. Cesium 137 or cobalt-60. And ito po yung ating reference for this one. Both the FDA and the AABB recommend a minimum dose of gamma irradiation of 25 GY to the central portion of the blood unit, with no less than 15 GY delivered to any part of the blood unit. And radiation may be achieved by using either a radioactive source, cesium-137, or the cobalt-60. So yan po yung ginagamit natin no, to irradiate yung ating mga blood components. Okay, this is from Harmening, 7th edition, page 334. So we have additional recall. So what blood component should be given to a patient who undergoes chemotherapy and irradiation therapy? So A, irradiated blood, B, washed red blood cells, C, leukopoor red blood cells, or letter D, packed red blood cells. So ano rin po yung ibibigay no para doon sa mga patients na nag-undergo ng chemotherapy and radiation therapy. So ito po parang common sense na po siya, no, nasa may question na po yung answer. So the correct answer for this one is letter A po, we have irradiated blood. Irradiated blood, din po yung binibigay natin na dun sa mga patient na nag-undergo ng chemotherapy and irradiation therapy. So irradiated, the cellular blood components. So blood components are irradiated with gamma radiation to prevent po yung graft versus host disease, which requires 3 conditions to occur. So yung transfusion po or transplantation ng mga immunocompetent T lymphocytes, yung mga histocompatibility differences between the graft and the recipient. And usually, para po sa mga immunocompromised patients, such as cancer patients po, nag-undergo ng chemotherapy. So this is from Harmening, page 364. So irradiated blood, so yung indication po nito, essential po ito for patients at risk of transfusion-associated graft versus host disease. Yung mga recipient po of platelet selected for HLA or platelets, recipients of donor units from blood relatives. And yung ginagamit po natin to irradiate blood is yung cesium-137 and the cobalt-60. So irradiated at 25 to 35 GY dose. And the expiration po is 28 days after irradiation or at the end of the storage period, whichever comes first. So yung kanyang storage temperature, 1 to 6 degrees Celsius pa din po. So donors who have ingested aspirin should be deferred for blank. So kailangan pong ma-defer to for 48 hours. Pakitandaan kailangan po siyang ma-defer for 48 hours. So donors who have ingested aspirin, Feldene, or aspirin-containing medication should be deferred. Kailangan po silang ma-defer for 48 hours. Because this medication interfere with the platelet adhesion and all of the platelets in a given therapeutic dose would be affected. And in addition, donors naman po na nag-ingest ng Plavix, yung mga clopidogrel or Toclid or Ticlopidin, should be deferred for 14 days. Pakitandaan kapag mga aspirin and Feldene, 48 hours. Pero kapag Plavix, clopidogrel, or Ticlid, Ticlopidin, kailangan po silang ma-defer for 14 days. Okay, this is from Harmening, page 296. So additional recall pa din. So how long is the deferral for Feldene intake for platelet pheresis? So Feldene po yung pinag-uusapan dito. So A, 1 week, B, 2 months, C, 48 hours, or letter D, 14 days. So for this one, the correct answer would be letter C po, 48 hours. So same reference lang po tayo, yung Feldene and yung mga aspirin 48 hours. Pero kapag Plavix or Clopidogrel and Ciclid or Ticlopidin, yun naman po yung 14 days after ingestion of the last dose. So, okay, additional recall. So, copied question po ito from her. About pa rin po ito na sa mga deferrals. 53-year-old woman donates blood at her place of employment and she weighs 150 pounds and has a hemoglobin of 13 grams per deciliter. And she is currently on warfarin and vitamin B12. Is she an acceptable donor? So A yes, B no because she is on warfarin, C yes for red cells only, or letter D no, her hemoglobin is too low. So alin po kaya yung correct answer? Acceptable po bang donor yung ating given patient? So for this copied question from her, no, na-recall question po, we have letter C. Yes po, acceptable po siya, pero sa red cells lang. So ito po yung pagkakasabi kay Har po. Her age and hemoglobin meet the donor criteria. However, because she is currently on warfarin, only the red cells can be prepared from her donation. So pakitandaan po yan po yung ating rationale from Har. Okay, next question. Deferral for yellow fever vaccine. Deferral po for yellow fever vaccine. So, kailangan po 2 weeks. 2 weeks po ang magiging deferral period if ever po makaka-ingest, no? If ever makaka-ingest yung patient or mabibigyan po siya ng bakuna. I'm sorry, kung mabibigyan po siya ng bakuna na kontra yellow fever. So, yung mga attenuated live viral vaccines po such as smallpox, measles, mumps, yellow fever, and influenza carry a 2-week deferral. So this is from Harmening 7th edition, page 304. So still, nasa deferrals pa rin po tayo. So marami pong question about sa mga deferrals, kaya dapat master na master po natin yung topic na to. So what medication will cause a permanent deferral? So hindi ka na po pwedeng mag-donate kahit kailan kapag ininom mo po yung gamot na to. So for this one, the correct answer is we have the Tegison po, the Tegison. So ito po yung ating rationale. This is from Blood Bank by Harmening, 7th edition, page 287. So if you have taken or are taking Proscar, Avodart, Propecia, Accutane, Torretine, and Tegison, this medication can cause birth defects. Yun po kasi yung reason kung bakit naging deferred po once na mag-intake ka ng drugs na to. Nagkakos po kasi yan ng mga birth defects. And your donated blood could contain high enough levels to damage the unborn baby if transfused to a pregnant woman. And once the medication has been cleared from your blood, you may donate again. So following the last dose. So yung ating deferral period for the Proscar, po is 1 month. 1 month for Proscar. 1 month din po for the Propecia, 1 month. For Accutane, 1 month din po siya. And 6 months naman. 6 months for the Avodart. For the Torretine yung kanyang deferral period is 3 years. 3 years for Torretine. And yung Tegison naman po, yung Tegison, nagkakaroon po dito ng permanent deferral. So pakitandaan po ito, Proscar, Propecia, and Accutane, 1 month. Then yung Avodart or Dutasteride, 6 months. Torretine, 3 years. And Tegison naman po, Tegison, permanent deferral. Permanent deferral. So saan po ba natin ginagamit ang Tegeson? Bakit hindi na pwedeng mag-donate no pag nakapag-ingest po nito? So ginagamit po natin ang Tegeson no to treat severe cases of psoriasis. Ginagamit natin po ito to treat severe cases of psoriasis. It is used to treat severe cases of psoriasis. Okay, next, for the deferral period of a patient with multiple puncture marks. So A, indefinite, B, 1 year, C, 3 years, or letter D, 6 months. So gaano daw po katagal no, yung deferral period kapag nakakita po ng multiple puncture marks. Okay, for this one, the correct answer po is, so basahin natin yung ating rationale. Use needles to take drugs, steroids, or anything not prescribed by your doctor. So donor's arm should be checked for evidence of scars or punctures indicating addiction to self-injected drugs. So makikita niyo po kapag naka-observe tayo ng mga scars of puncture indicating addiction to self-injected drugs or for presence of any skin lesion in the benepuncture site, donors with evidence of past or present non-prescription drug use should be indefinitely deferred. So, indefinitely po kapag mayroong multiple puncture marks yung patient at kapag gumagamit po siya ng mga non-prescription drugs. So, yung 1 year naman po, yung mga 1 year deferred, sila po yung mga rape victim, yung nagpa-vaccine for Hepa B, nagpa-tattoo, needle stick, nagpa-body piercing, and yung nagkaroon po ng sexual contact with prostitute, with HIV/AIDS positive patient, and nagkaroon po ng history ng syphilis or gonorrhea. And yung 3 years naman, yung 3 years, yung mga immigrants po sa malaria endemic area. And next question. So this is a board exam recall question from March 2023 board exam. So a patient with a history of cancer. So what will be the deferral if the patient has a history of cancer? So A, accepted for donation, C, deferred for 3 years, C, rejected for donation, or letter D, deferred for 12 months. So meron daw pong history. Ibig sabihin, magaling na yung cancer niya. So tatanggapin po ba natin ang patient na merong history ng cancer na mag-donate ng blood? So the answer is letter C po, rejected for donation. So this is our reference. So had any type of cancer, including leukemia, a history of cancer, leukemia, or lymphoma is generally a cause for indefinite deferral. And any donor presenting with a history of cancer should be evaluated by the blood bank director. Pero meron naman tayong mga exceptions sa mga cancers po na to. Yung mga basal or squamous cell carcinoma, so type po ito ng skin cancer, carcinoma in situ of the cervix, and the papillary thyroid carcinoma that has been surgically removed. So again po, a history of cancer such as leukemia or lymphoma is generally a cause for indefinite deferral. So kailangan po nating i-reject yung donor. Okay, another recall. So which of the following vaccination has no deferral? So A, varicella zoster, B, smallpox, C, human papilloma virus, or letter D po. Letter D, yung measles. So which of the following vaccination has no deferral period? So for this one, the correct answer is the human papilloma virus. So ito pong varicella zoster virus, varicella zoster, ang deferral period po dito is 4 weeks or 1 month. 4 weeks or 1 month or weeks. And yung measles naman po, yung measles, para po ito kay Rabiola. Kapag measles, ang nagkakos po niyan is Rabiola, ang deferral po dito is 2 weeks. Pero kapag naman po rubella, no, kapag rubella or the German measles, ang deferral period po is 4 weeks. Pakitandaan, no, varicella zoster vaccination or chickenpox vaccination and German measles or rubella vaccination, 4 weeks po ang deferral. Pero kapag measles lang or rabiola, 2 weeks po ang deferral period. And kapag smallpox vaccination, so probably po meron din po itong 2 weeks vaccination, smallpox vaccination. So ito po yung mga vaccines po and their deferral time and yung iba pang mga conditions. So 2 weeks, we have the measles or rabiola vaccine, mumps vaccine, polio or oral vaccine, typhoid oral vaccine, and the yellow fever vaccine. And yung for 4 weeks deferral naman po, German measles, rubella, and the varicella zoster or chickenpox vaccine. 4 weeks naman po ito or 1 month. And 28 days naman, Hep B vaccine, hepatitis B vaccine, and 6 weeks naman po. 6 weeks, we have the conclusion of pregnancy. And please take note, nakalagay po dito sa may baba, recombinant, ito po kasi yung ating board exam recall rationale po para kanina, recombinant vaccine such as for human papillomavirus vaccine do not require a deferral period. And a 12-month deferral is necessary if the donor was exposed to an animal that resulted in the need for a rabies vaccination. Okay, ito pong book na to, yung Basic and Applied Concepts of Blood Banking and Transfusion Practices, page 274. Pakibasa po yan kasi may mga lumalabas na po dyan sa board exam. So recipients of human pituitary derived from growth hormone, the deferral period is permanent. The next 1 year naman po sa mga rape victim after Hep B immunoglobulin administration, received transfusion of blood components, needle stick injury, ear or body piercing, syphilis, gonorrhea, rabies vaccination, and major surgery or operation, 1 year po ang deferral. So yung 4 weeks or 1 month, yan nga po yung kay rubella or German measles and kay varicella, yung chickenpox. Then yung 2 weeks naman po, 2 weeks deferral, yan po yung kay vaccination to measles or rabiola, mumps, oral polio, typhoid, and yellow fever. And meron po tayo mga cases po na hindi naman po kailangan i-defer yung pasyente. So no deferral according po kay Harmening, a first trimester or second trimester abortion or miscarriage, hindi naman po kailangan i-defer yung pasyente. And after childbirth, kapag naman nanganak or pregnancy, according, magkaiba po kasi sinasabi sa book. According kay Harmening, the deferral period is 6 weeks. 6 weeks po. Pero according po sa standard dito po sa Pilipinas, ang standard po na deferral period kapag nanganak po ang isang babae is 9 months. So kapag nagbigay po ng reference kapag dito sa Pilipinas, sasagot po tayo ng 9 months. Pero kapag wala naman pong binigay na reference, sasagot po tayo ng 6 weeks. So following full recovery from infection of dengue or chikungunya virus, 6 months. Paano kapag nagpabunot yung pasyente? So 3 days. Nagpabunot po ng ngipin, 3 days. And infected with malaria, 3 years. And travelers to endemic areas such as Palawan and Mindoro, 1 year. Pero depende po yan, kapag pumunta ka po sa Palawan ng 1 month, ng 1 day to 6 months, 1 day to 6 months, ang deferral po is 6 months. Pero kapag pumunta ka po sa Palawan ng greater than 6 months, ang deferral period na po is 1 year. Pakitandaan na depende po kung gaano ka katagal mag-stay sa Palawan. So kapag 1 to 6 months ka nag-stay sa Palawan, 6 months po ang deferral. And if greater than 6 months naman, 1 year. So cause of deferral for this patient. So A, 110 beats per minute na blood pressure na pulse pala, I'm sorry. 140/90 na blood pressure. C, 37.2 degrees Celsius na temperature. Or letter D, 135 grams per deciliter per hemoglobin. Pero kung susundin po natin yung standard dito sa Pilipinas, no, sasagot po ako ng letter B. Kasi yung 140 po na blood pressure, mataas na po yan kapag mag-donate ka ng dugo. Pero according po sa mga books po kasi, according sa mga books, ang cost po for deferral for this patient is 110 beats per minute. Ang normal na pulse po kasi ang normal na pulse dapat po between lang siya ng 50 to 100. So ito po yung mga qualifications of the potential donor, which is allogenic. Ang tawag natin doon. So general appearance, so appears to be in good health, no sign of intake of drugs or alcohol, and wala rin pong mga skin lesion. So yung age dapat mag-range po from 18 to 65 years old. Pero yung mga 17 years old po pinapayagan na rin po yan basta meron po silang consent from their parents. And of course, dapat papayag din po yung mga doctors. Then body weight, 50 kilograms or 110. Volume of blood to be drawn is 450 ml at meron pong 63 ml na anticoagulant. And the temperature naman, it should not exceed 37.5 degrees Celsius or 99.5 degrees Fahrenheit. And for the pulse, 50 to 100 beats per minute. And mas mababa po ang pulso ng mga athletes. And for the blood pressure, dapat daw po hindi lalagpas ng 180 millimeter mercury yung systolic at hindi naman po lalagpas ng 100 yung diastolic. So for the hemoglobin and hematocrit, magkaiba na po sila according po sa mga bagong edisyon ni Harmening, magkaiba na po yung normal value for the hemoglobin and hematocrit ng mga lalaki at babae. So for the male, 13 grams per deciliter yung kanyang hemoglobin. And for the hematocrit, 39%. So for the female, the hemoglobin is 12.5 grams per deciliter and the hematocrit naman po is 38%. The hematocrit is 38%. And for the allogenic donor deferral, so meron tayong temporary deferral, indefinite deferral, and permanent deferral. So temporary deferral, the prospective donor is unable to donate blood for a limited period of time. So depende po kung ano po yung condition niya. Temporary. Ibig sabihin, pwede rin po siyang mag-donate in the future kapag natapos na po yung certain condition or certain deferral period na binigay sa kanya. And indefinite deferral naman po, prospective donor is unable to donate blood for someone else for an unspecified period of time due to the current regulatory requirements. So yung indefinite deferral, hindi pa po ito sure na habang buhay na siyang hindi pwedeng mag-donate ng dugo. Kasi po yung ating mga rules po, yung mga rules when donating blood, and when deferring a patient, pwede pa po yung magbago in the future. Nakalagay po, this donor would not be able to donate blood until the current requirement changes. And for the permanent deferral, prospective donor will never be eligible to donate blood for someone else. And these donors may have eligible to donate autologous blood. So ito pag permanent po, never na po siyang makakapag-donate ng blood ever. Permanent deferral. And ito naman po yung ating general requirements for autologous donation. General requirements for autologous donation. So the age, wala pong age limit no kapag autologous donation. So yung weight, no strict weight requirements. Then hemoglobin at least 11 grams per deciliter. And the hematocrit naman po at least 33%, at least 33%. And yung frequency, dapat po hindi po siya i-perform every 3 days. Not more than every 3 days. Yung pag-perform po ng autologous donation. And next, for our bacterial contamination of blood. So two bacteria that most associated with blood transfusion infection. So ano po yung dalawang bacteria associated with blood transfusion infection? So the answer is Yersinia and Pseudomonas. So ang reference po natin dyan is the Blood Banking 7th edition, page 321. So according to CDC, or to Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Yersinia enterocolytica is the most common isolate in red blood cell unit, followed by the Pseudomonas species. And taken together, this accounts for more than 80% of all bacterial infection transmitted by red blood cells. Okay, we have additional recall dito. So what blood product is most frequently cause of transfusion-related sepsis? So A, platelets, B, red blood cells, C, whole blood, or letter D, plasma. So for this one po ang isi-check po natin dito, sepsis po na ibig sabihin, madalas daw na mag-cause ng infection. So ano po ba? Infection, ibig sabihin may mga involved na mga microorganisms such as bacteria. So ano po bang blood component yung pwedeng magkaroon ng growth yung mga bacteria? So ano pong blood component yung pwedeng magkaroon ng growth yung mga bacteria? Yung most likely na magkakaroon ng growth yung mga bacteria. Di ba yung mga blood component po na nakastore at room temperature? Di ba sa choices po na to, ang red blood cell, whole blood, parehas po silang nakastore at 1 to 6 degrees Celsius. Tapos yung plasma naman, 18 degrees Celsius. Kapag 1 year, ito po yung fresh frozen plasma, fresh frozen plasma. And kapag negative 65 naman po, ang shelf life niya is 7 years. 7 years. So ang platelet po kasi, ang platelet, nakastore po yan at room temperature, thus allowing bacterial growth. Diba? Most of the bacteria in our clinical bacteriology, nag-grow po sila at room temperature. And ito po yung ating list ng mga bacterial contaminants, Yersinia enterocolytica. So according to CDC, it is the most common cause of death by bacterial contaminated blood component. And ito po yung most common isolate found in the red blood cell unit. Okay, next, Pseudomonas species. Ito po yung second most common isolate found on the red blood cell unit. And Propionibacterium acnes, ito po yung common isolate of human skin and was the most common bacterial contaminant in the red blood cells. We have the Propionibacterium acnes. Then Bacillus cereus, Staphylococcus epidermidis, ito po yung most frequently recovered from donated blood and contamination of platelets. Yan po yung for Bacillus cereus and Staphylococcus epidermidis. And for the ISBT terminology of RBC surface antigen, so what blood group is assigned as ISBT number 030? So for this one, the correct answer po we have the RHAG. Yan po yung na-assign as ISBT number 030. So this is from Harmening 030 RH-associated glycoprotein. Yun po yung ibig sabihin ng RHAG. We have the RH-associated glycoprotein. So next, additional recall. Ito na po yung answer. The blood group is represented by which number on the ISBT? So yung first three digits ba? Last 3 digits? second three digits, or the last two digits. So again, yung blood group is represented by which numbers of the ISBT. So yung first three digits po. Nakalagay po dyan, no? The ISBT classification, REBC antigens are assigned a six-digit identification number. And yung first three digits po, it represents the system, collection, and series. And the second three digits, yung second three digits, para naman po yun sa identification. So identify the antigen for identification of antigen. So again, yung first three digits, it represents the system, collection, or series. And yung second three digits naman for identification of antigen. And for the ISBT terminology of the RBC surface antigen, so basahin ko na lang po ano yung mga nakablank sa notes. So yung ISBT 001, yan po yung ating ABO system. Then 007, the Lewis, 008, the Duffy, 009, Kidd, and 017, Cedar Rogers. And pakitandaan din po pala si Diego. Si Diego po, 010, and yung RH po natin, RH 004. So mga mas know po yan, no? 004, RH, Diego 010. Okay, next, we have 020, Gerbich, and 021, we have the Cromer. At yung natanong nga po sa board exam na yun, the 030, ito nga po si RHAG, or the RH-associated glycoprotein. Okay, next topic, we have the amount of H antigen. So, react strongly with Ulex tropeus. So, ano ro pong blood group system, no? Yung nag-react strongly with Ulex tropeus. So, for this one, the correct answer is the O, yung O blood group system, the O blood group system. So, ito po yung merong strongest reaction hanggang sa may least reaction po. Yung may pinakamataas na amount ng H antigen hanggang sa may least amount of H antigen. So, yung O po, O yung merong greatest amount of H antigen followed by A2, next is B, A2B, A1, and the A1B. So, yun po yung mga may amount of ng H antigen. So, yung H, yung kanyang immunodominant sugar is the L-fucose. Then yung A gene, N-acetyl D-galactosamine, B, D-galactose, or yung AB, we have the N-acetyl D-galactosamine or the D-galactose. So pakitandaan po yung kanilang mga enzymes na ginagamit, yan nga po yung mga glycosyltransferase, pati po yung mga immunodominant sugar. So ang technique lang po dyan, kung ano po yung immunodominant sugar, so baguhin lang po yung dulo ng YL, tapos i-add natin yung word na transferase. So yun na po yung kanilang immunodominant sugar. So yun na po yung kanilang glycosyltransferase enzyme. Okay, next question. So blood type A. So alin daw po yung answer dito? At least 1B and age, B only, B and SE, or letter D, B and small letter H. So for blood type B, the correct answer is letter A po at least 1B and H. Yan po yung ating blood type B, So dapat po palagi siyang merong age. Kasi yung B po natin, yung ating B, meron po yung age antigen. So makikita po natin pang third ang B na meron pong amount, may pinakamataas na amount of age antigen. So next, agglutination is observed in blue anti-sera. So what is the most probable blood type? So A, B, A+, C, B, or letter D, B+. So again, agglutination is observed in blue anti-sera. So what is the blood type. So for this one, the correct answer po, we have letter A. A, yan po yung ating blood type for this example. So bakit hindi po A+? Kasi wala naman tayong ginamit na anti-D, no? Kapag sa may question, sa may situation, di ba wala naman pong ginamit na anti-D. Kaya hindi po natin masasabi if A positive po ba or A negative. Basta ang sinabi lang po, nag-positive po sa blue anti-sera. Di ba yung ating blue anti-sera, yan po yung anti-A. So next, agglutination is observed in yellow anti-sera. So what is the blood type of the patient? So A, B, A positive, C, B, or letter D, B plus. So for this one, yellow anti-sera naman daw. Yellow anti-sera. So ito po yung ating anti-B. At wala pong sinabi, no, if nag-positive po ba sa anti-D. Kaya hindi po natin sasabi if B positive po ba or B negative. So for this one, the correct answer is letter C. We have blood group type B. So ito po yung reactions natin, no, sa ABO, forward typing, front or direct typing. So yun po yung other term natin, no, for the forward typing ng ABO, the front or the direct typing. At yung specimen po natin dyan is the patient red blood cells, and the reagent that we use is yung commercial anti-sera nga po. So yung anti-A, yun po yung color blue, yung anti-B naman po yung yellow color. At ginagamit po natin, no, ang ABO forward typing for detection of ABO antigens. Ginagamit po yan for detection of ABO antigens. Then next, we have the ABO reverse typing, stack indirect typing, or serum typing. And yung specimen po natin dito is serum or plasma. And yung reagent po na ginagamit is yung mga A cells, B cells. At ginagamit po natin to for detection of ABO antibodies. ABO antibodies. So yung reaction po, ito po yung ating forward reaction kapag nag-positive sa anti-A, positive po yan ibig sabihin, yan po yung mayroong A antigen. So kapag naman blood type A, magne-negative po yan sa anti-B. Kapag naman blood type B, magne-negative sa anti-A at magka-positive sa anti-B. Pag naman blood type AB, magka-positive both, no, sa anti-A and anti-B. At kapag naman blood group O, magne-negative po yan parehas sa anti-A and anti-B. And next reaction with the A cells naman po and B cells. Kapag naman blood type A, kabaligtaran po, back typing naman po tayo dito. So opposite po ng result ni forward typing to reverse or back typing. So kapag blood type A, ang reaction po niya sa A cells is negative. And kapag naman sa B cells, magka-positive po siya. Kasi nga, reverse typing po ito. Kapag si type B, magpa-positive sa A cells at magne-negative naman po sa B cells. Then yung AB, magne-negative parehas sa A and B cells. And yung O naman po, yung O, magpa-positive po sila parehas. Parehas po silang magpa-positive, no, sa A cells and B cells. So makikita nyo po, opposite po ang reaction ng forward and reverse typing. Okay, additional recall. So A and B antibodies are primarily what kind of immunoglobulin in the plasma? So A, IgM in the type A or type B individuals, B, IgG in type O individuals, or letter C, IgA. Okay, for this question, the correct answer is letter A po, IgM in type A or type B individual. And ito po yung ating rationale from this is from Henry. So in general, ABO antibodies are detected at room temperature. The line agglutinins with optimal reactivity at 4 degrees Celsius. And the most naturally occurring ABO antibodies are the IgM isotype. So makikita nyo po IgM isotype, yan po yung most naturally occurring ABO antibodies. Although IgA and IgG antibodies with ABO specificity are also present. So pakitandaan, meron po tayong tatlong class ng mga ABO system. Yung IgG, IgM, and si IgA. Pakitandaan po, tatlo po sila. Yung ating ABO blood group system pwedeng maging IgG, IgM, or IgA. Pero yung most occurring nga po, most naturally occurring is yung IgM. Okay, next, additional recall. So for the composition of the minor cross-match. So A, patient serum to donor red cell. B, donor serum to patient red cell. C, patient serum to patient red cell. Or letter D, donor serum to donor cell. And for this one, the correct answer po, we have letter B po, donor serum to patient red cell. Kasi meron po tayong tinatawag, the major cross-match, and the minor cross-match. So major cross-match, ito po yung DCPS. DCPS, donor cell, patient serum. Donor cell, patient serum. For the minor cross-match naman, donor serum, patient cell. Yan po yung ating major and minor cross-match. Pakitandaan po yung difference po nila. So patient serum, and donor cell, ito po yung major. This is the major. Tapos letter B, donor serum, patient cell, ito naman po yung minor. So ito pong minor cross-match, hindi na po natin to pina-perform in clinical laboratory kasi ang minor cross-match, it has been replaced na po by antibody screening. Pakitandaan, minor cross-match has been replaced by antibody screening. Kaya nakaka-shock po na tinanong po ng ating Board of Examiner yung minor cross-matching. So ibig sabihin, kahit hindi na po pina-perform, kahit obsolete na, kailangan pa rin nating aralin kasi natatanong pa rin po yan sa board exam. Okay, for the Bombay individual, so what is the genotype? Ang question po, ano raw po yung genotype ng mga Bombay individual? So A, age, B, age, or letter D, or letter C, OH. So ano daw po yung genotype ng mga Bombay individual? Okay, for this one, the correct answer po is letter B. We have the age. So ito po yung genotype or genotype ng mga Bombay individual, Bombay phenotype. Meron po silang age genotype. So nakalagay na rin po dito na ang phenotype naman po, ang phenotype naman ng mga Bombay is OH po. Kapag genotype, age. Kapag naman phenotype ng mga Bombay, OH. Kasi yung next question natin, ano naman daw po yung phenotype ng mga Bombay? So yung kanilang phenotype is OH. So again, same reference lang po tayo. This is from Harmening. So age genotype, OH phenotype. Pakitandaan, OH phenotype, age genotype. So Bombay individual, so the age genotype is known as the Bombay phenotype. So again, age genotype is known as the Bombay phenotype and lacks normal expression of the ABH antigen. And meron po tayong tinatawag na age null or age genotype. Genotype. So again, age null or age genotype, ibig sabihin po nun, yun po yung walang antigen na A, B, and H. At yung mga age null, or yung mga Bombay individual natin can only be transfused with blood from another Bombay phenotype. So kung Bombay ka, for example, pwede ka lang makareceive ng blood sa mga Bombay individuals lang din. So ang mga Bombay individuals po kasi, magkamukha po sila ng result no ng mga O individual. Pakitandaan yung mga OH or yung mga Bombay individual, halos meron po silang same reaction po ano ng mga O when it comes to anti-A and anti-B. Kasi parehas silang negative doon at parehas positive sa A cells and B cells. So para ma-differentiate po natin no, ang ating mga O blood groups, pati na rin po yung mga Bombay, gagamit po tayo ng anti-age lectin. So ibig sabihin no, sino po ba sa mga Bombay yung merong age antigen? Kasi kapag anti-age po ano ang hinahanap natin is age antigen. Alin po ba sa O and OH or Bombay yung merong age antigen? So of course no, yung ating O. So wala mang A and B ang mga O individual, meron po silang age antigen. Pakitandaan na meron po silang age antigen. And yung mga Bombay naman po, wala silang A, wala silang B, at wala rin po silang age antigen. So makikita nyo po ano, they lack A, B, and H antigen. So kapag sa anti-H lectin, magne-negative po ang mga Bombay individual. Okay, next, number 44, for the color of the HG. So A, colorless, B, green, C, blue, or letter D, yellow. So ang color po ano ng mga HG is color green. Okay, from harmony to other process controls include manual and automated actions to prevent the occurrence of errors. And one common process control in serological testing is the use of the green-colored antiglobulin serum. So makikita niyo po ano, green-colored antiglobulin serum to ensure that the antiglobulin serum was indeed added at the antiglobulin phase of testing. And for the color of the reagents, so ito po ano para alam natin kasi yung ating Board of Examiner no nagtatanong sila ng mga kulay ng mga reagents or hindi naman nagtanong about kulay, may situational questions po kamukha nung kanina kapag daw nag-positive sa blue anti-sera, ano raw po yung blood type? Kapag nag-positive sa yellow anti-sera, ano raw po yung blood type? So dapat no alam na alam po natin yung kulay ng ating mga reagents na ginagamit in blood banking. So, anti-A, blue, anti-B, yellow, RBC suspension dapat po tomato red yan. Anti-human globulin or AHG, color green. And yung anti-AB, anti-D, LISS, and the bovine serum albumin, lahat po sila colorless. Okay, next question. Sa other blood group system na po tayo. So the second most immunogenic Rh antigen. What is the most or the second most immunogenic Rh antigen? So the answer is letter C po ano, small c. Small c po yung answer natin. So ito po yung ating answer, rationale for this question. So yung most immunogenic na mga Rh antigen hanggang sa least immunogenic. So meron tayong D, big D, followed by small c, followed by big E, followed by big C, and followed by small e. Ibig sabihin, yung E po ano, yung E, siya po yung less immunogenic na Rh antigen. Yung small e po, small e. Yung palatandaan ko dyan, no, mukha po kasi siyang isda. Mukha siyang isda kapag dinrawing po natin no, yung ating mga Rh antigen. So mukha po siyang isda, di ba? Yan. Yan po siya. Yung palatandaan ko kung paano ko natatandaan yung pagkakasunod-sunod ng mga most immunogenic hanggang sa least immunogenic na mga Rh antigen. Okay, next, in which animal was Rh discovered? So pakitandaan, no, ang Rh blood group system, discover po yan sa mga rhesus macaque monkey. So the Rh antibodies was so named on the basis of the antibody production by guinea pigs and rabbits when transfused with the rhesus monkey red blood cells. And for the Rh blood group system, ito po yung mga must know information. So Rh blood group system is the second, the most important blood group system in terms of transfusion. And yung pinakauna nga po, ano yung pinakauna? Yung ABO po. Yung ABO followed by the Rh. And ito po yung most important blood group system associated with hemolytic disease of the newborn. And yung function po ano ng ating blood group system, sila po yung maintain structural integrity, of the red blood cells and carbon dioxide transporter. Yun po ano yung ating Rh function. So it maintains the structural integrity of the red blood cells and carbon dioxide transporter. So ito po mga must know information din about Rh blood group system. So R1 or the DCE, ito po yung most common phenotype ng mga Asian. R0 or D small c small e, ito naman po yung most common on black individuals. Again, big D, big C, and small e, yan po yung common sa mga Asians. Kapag naman big D, small c, and small e sa mga black individuals. Then D mosaic or partial D, it is a type of weakened D antigen with one or more parts of the D antigen is missing and produces anti-D to the missing part. And stomatocytes, ito po yung mga poikilocytes no, associated with the Rh null disease. So next question about Rh blood group system, pero dito po ano involved na po ang Punnett square. So dapat po ano marunong tayong gumamit ng Punnett square. So ano po ba yung Punnett square? So yung Punnett square po ano, ito po yung diagram that is used to predict an outcome of a particular cross or breeding. So pinangalan po ano ang Punnett square kay Reginald C. Punnett, kay Mr. Reginald C. Punnett. So dito po natin malalaman na sa Punnett square yung magiging possible outcome po ano ng isang particular cross or breeding. So for example, married couple are both heterozygous D. What are the genes of the possible offspring? So A, all Rh negative, B, all Rh positive, C, either Rh positive and Rh negative, or letter D, DU positive. So married couple, ibig sabihin meron tayong father and merong mother. So dito po sa side na to, ilagay natin yung sa mother. So yung ating Punnett square, so mag-drawing po tayo ng Punnett square. So nakahati po ang Punnett square no, sa 9 squares. Meron po tayo dyang 9 squares. So ito po yung ating Punnett square. So meron tayong D, father na heterozygous. Kapag po heterozygous D, no, ibig sabihin meron siyang big D tapos meron siyang small d. Kaya nga heterozygous, magkaiba. May isang malaki at may isang maliit na D. Mother naman, heterozygous din po sila. Married couple are both heterozygous. So meron tayong big D at small d. So ang gagawin po natin, no, yung DD, so i-add natin yan. So meron tayong big D, big D. So next, big D tsaka small d, big D, small d. Then sa kabilang side, big D, small d ulit, big D, small d. Then yung pinaka-last, small d, small d. So, ibig sabihin, meron po tayong homozygous D. Ibig sabihin, positive po ito sa RH. Meron tayong dalawang heterozygous. Dalawang heterozygous, ibig sabihin, positive po sila. So, masasabi po kasi nating positive sa RH kapag meron po silang malaking D. At meron po tayong isang negative. Meron po tayong homozygous small d. Ang tawag po natin dyan, no, homozygous small d. Ito naman po yung homozygous big D. And ito naman po yung heterozygous D positive. Heterozygous D positive. So, ibig sabihin, yung answer po natin dito is letter C. It's either RH positive and RH negative. Yan po yung ating result, no, for our Punnett square. And we have additional recall. So an infant acquired two similar alleles from each parent. So this indicates heterozygous, homozygous, dominant, or letter D, recessive. Two similar alleles from each parent. So the answer is letter B po, homozygous. So when we say homozygous po kasi, no, in genetics, kapag po yung genes, no, for a trait on homologous chromosomes are the same. Ito po yung ating keyword dyan, kapag similar. Kapag naman po yung heterozygous, ito po yung genetic state of having two dissimilar genes for the same trait. Yun po yung difference, no, ng homozygous and heterozygous. Di ba sabi ko kanina, kapag big D, small d, ito po yung heterozygous. Kasi meron po silang dissimilar na mga genes. Heterozygous. Kapag naman big D, ito naman po yung homozygous. Ganun din po yung D, small d, homozygous din po sila. Homozygous. And next, for the RH blood group system, negative dash negative. So A, RH null, B, D mosaic, C, partial, D, or letter D, OH. Okay, for this one, the correct answer po, we have letter A, we have the RH null. So yung reference po natin dito, still si Harmening pa rin po. So the RH null phenotype is usually written in Fisher race as dash slash dash. Yan nga po yung ating RH null phenotype. So slash dash slash. And in Wiener, as RH null, and in Rosenfeld nomenclature, sinusulat po natin yan na RH negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and negative 5. So pakitandaan, no, yung dash slash dash po na yan, based po yan sa Fisher race. So marami po tayong pwedeng pagsulatan ng RH null. Pwedeng Fisher race, pwedeng Wiener, at pwedeng Rosenfeld nomenclature. So additional recall po tayo. So in Wiener terminology, so RHO agglutinogen is composed of what blood factors? So yung answer po natin dito, no? Ito po siya, no? RH-O po. So we have the RH-O, HR prime, and HR double prime. So yung answer natin dito is letter C. HR prime and HR double prime. So ito pong letter A, yung HR prime and HR double prime, ito po yung sa may RH. So next, yung RHO naman, yung RHO na HR prime and RH double prime, ito naman po yung for RH2. So check natin ang RH2, HR prime and RH double prime. And letter D naman po, RHO na RH prime and RH double prime, yan naman po yung sa RHZ. Yan po yung ating sagot here in this additional recall. So ito po yung list natin ng mga null phenotypes. Ito po yung mga null phenotypes po natin. We have the RH null, dash, slash, dash. Kel null, we have K0, P0, the P null, P, kid null, kid A negative, B negative. Dumbrock null, GYA negative, Cyananol, SC -1, -2, -3, and Gerbichnol, -2, -3, -4. And the Dopinol naman po, we have the Dopi A negative, B negative. So additional recall, so most common Lewis antigen is we have letter D po the Leia A and Leia, the Lewis A and the Lewis B. So the blood group system, Lewis has been replaced, the ISBT number 007 and the system symbol LE. There are several Lewis antigens, but two of the primary concerns are the Lewis A and the Lewis B. Pakitandaan po yan, Lewis A and Lewis B. So ito po yung ating mga Lewis antigen and Lewis antibody. So Lewis antigen, so Lewis A positive and B negative, yan po yung mga ABH non-secretor. Kapag naman negative sa A at positive sa B, sila naman po yung mga ABH secretor. Sila po yung ABH secretor. An individual with the A negative, B negative, RBC phenotype are either secretors or non-secretors. And Lewis A negative, B negative, nakikita po natin yan among Africans. And yung positive naman po sa both A and B, rare po yan sa mga whites and Africans, but frequent po yan sa mga Asians. Pakitandaan kapag A negative, B negative na Lewis, Africans po yan. Pero kapag positive both sa A and B, yan naman po yung for the Asians. And for the genotype po ng ating mga blood group system, so ABH, small Lewis, and small secretor. So makikita nyo po small po yung Lewis and secretor. So yung kanilang red cell phenotype is negative po yung A at negative po yung B. And kapag mabaliit naman yung Lewis at malaki po yung secretor, since secretor po sila, magkakaroon po tayo dito ng substance na may secretion. So dito po, maliit po yung secretor, ibig sabihin hindi po nagkasecrete to ng mga substances. So wala po siyang makikitang substance doon sa may secretion. So dito po, since malaki po yung kanyang secretor, so kaya po niyang makapag-secrete ng mga substance na A, B, and H. So ito po so positive po siya si Lewis. So meron po tayong Lewis A sa may secretion. And meron tayong secretor gene and positive din po sa Lewis. So ibig sabihin, meron tayong ABH na substances at kaya din pong mag-secrete ng Lewis A antigen. Okay, next question. The cord blood sample is ideal in blood bank because it does not contain A, I antigen, B, M antigen, C, LEB, or letter D, I antigen. So again, I blood group system, cord blood sample is ideal in blood bank because it does not contain letter A po I antigen. So it does not contain I antigen. So the I and I antigen, the I and small I antigen, yung I po undetectable po yan sa mga infant. Indetectable po ang I, ang big I sa mga infant. Tapos yung small I naman, yung small I, mataas po yan at birth. Pero mamaya po, expand po natin yung ating discussion about big I and small I antigen. So next, antibody seen in Mycoplasma pneumoniae. So yung antibody po na nakikita natin sa Mycoplasma pneumoniae is anti-I. So production of auto-anti-I may be stimulated by microorganisms carrying I-like antigens on their surface. And patients with Mycoplasma pneumoniae often develop strong cold agglutinins with I specificity. So yun po yung ating reference. This is from Harmoning. So yung anti-I po natin, yung anti-I, anti-big I, yan nga po yung kay Mycoplasma pneumoniae, cold agglutinin disease, walking or atypical pneumoniae, and vascular occlusions or Raynaud's phenomenon. So anti-big I, infectious mononucleosis, reticulosis, myeloid leukemia, and alcoholic cirrhosis. So for the P blood group system, so antibody that binds to the red blood cell at cold temperature and causes red blood cell lysis via complement at 37 degrees Celsius. Ito nga po yung sa Donut Landsteiner antibody. So makikita po natin, no, Donut Landsteiner antibody, they are biphasic. So bakit po natin tinawag na biphasic? Kasi po at lower temperature, yung mga RBC po is napipix po sa kanila yung complement. Pakitandaan, at lower temperature, nagbabind po yung ating mga Donut Landsteiner antibody to the red blood cell at napipix po yung complement. And at 37 degrees Celsius, dyan po nangyayari yung hemolysis. Again, kaya tinawag po na biphasic hemolysin yung ating mga Donut Landsteiner antibody kasi kaya po nilang mag-react at cold temperature and even at body temperature. So anti-big P, so naturally occurring allo-antibody in sera of all PK individuals. And yung auto-anti-P nga po is found as an IgG. Pakitandaan na nakikita po ito as IgG auto-antibody in patients with paroxysmal cold hemoglobinuria. Then yung anti-P1 naman po associated dyan with the parasites such as Echinococcus granulosus and yung mga fasciola po natin, yung mga ating fluke na trematodes. And anti-PP1-PK, it reacts po over a wide thermal range, both IgM and IgG. And associated po ito with spontaneous abortion in early pregnancy and has potential to cause severe hemolytic transfusion reaction and hemolytic disease of the fetus and newborn. So anti-K antibody in the population is A, rare, B, frequent, C, occasionally seen, or letter D, impossible. So for the additional recall, so yung anti-K antibody in the population is, they are rare po. Rare po sila. So according po yan sa basic and applied concept of blood banking and transfusion practices, page 151. So anti-K is the most commonly observed antibody of the KEL blood group system in the transfusion service. And yung nasa baba po antibodies to small k, KBP, GSB are not commonly detected because individuals who lack this high incidence antigen are scarce. And po. So Diego serves as a marker for Mongolian ancestry. Lumabas po ito noong March 2023, yung sa Mongolian ancestry. So ito po yung ating reference for this one. So reported in 1955, so anti-Diego A had caused hemolytic disease of fetus and a newborn in a Venezuelan baby. And anti-Diego B was described 2 years later. And Diego A is rare in most population but is polymorphic in people of Mongolian ancestry. So makikita niyo po common po sila or polymorphic po ito in people with Mongolian ancestry. Okay, additional recall. So this is a copied question from HAR. So which of the following antibodies characteristically gives a refractyl mixed field appearance? So A, anti-K, B, anti-S, anti-Diego A, anti-SDA, or letter D, anti-S. So for this one, the correct answer would be letter C po, we have the anti-SDA. So this is a copied question. Anti-SDA characteristically gives a refractyl mixed field agglutination reaction in the IH space, and the refractyl characteristic is more evident under the microscope. So ano naman daw po yung ginagamit na mga enhancement reagents in the gel tube technology? Gel tube technology. So yun po yung dextran, acrylamide, and LISS. So ito po yung ating reference dito. Nakuha ko po ito from Henry. So yun po yung dextran, acrylamide, and LISS. Ginagamit po natin yan for column agglutination technique. And for the gel tube technology, ito po yung mga must-know information. So yung developer or inventor, yan po si Yves Lapierre. Nasabi ko na yan kanina nung unang part po natin, no? Developer or inventor ng gel tube is si Yves Lapierre. So centrifuge time, 10 minutes at 190 revolution per minute. The incubation time is 15 minutes. The major advantage, nagkakaroon kasi dito ng standardization, and yung disadvantage po ng paggamit nito, kailangan pong gumamit ng mga special instrument at mahal po kasi ito. And yung ginagamit na enhancement reagents in the gel tube technology, according to Hormeling and Henry, we have the dextran, acrylamide, and LISS. And ito po yung reporting natin for the gel tube technology. So mas know din po ito, no? 4+ kapag nagkaroon ng solid band. 3+ naman kapag nagkaroon ng agglutination of red cells toward the top of the tube with a few agglutinates staggered before or below the thicker band. 2+ naman kapag throughout the gel, kapag nagkaroon ng dispersion of agglutinates throughout the cell, throughout the gel. 1+ naman po ano kapag mas marami sa lower half. Kapag mas marami sa lower half, predominantly observed in the lower half. And mixed field naman. Mixed field, ito naman po yung layers of red cell agglutinate sa top. Tapos meron din sa bottom. So yun po yung mixed field. And kapag negative naman, ito po yung red cells forming a well-delineated pellet in the bottom of the microtube. Yan po yung ating negative for the gel tube technology. Okay, next, ano po yung positive results for the Clay-Heyer-Bethke test? So 1, resistant denaturation, 2, pale pink, 3, deep pink, or 4, denatured red blood cell. So for the Clay-Heyer-Bethke test, ang positive results po ano is 1 and 3. So 1 and 3 po yung ating positive results for the Clay-Heyer-Bethke test. So in the Clay-Heyer-Bethke test, a maternal blood smear is treated with acid and then stained with counterstain, and fetal cells contain fetal hemoglobin or hemoglobin F, which is resistant to acid and will remain pink. So yun po yung ating positive result for the Clay-Heyer-Bethke test. And for the ROGAM or RHIG, ito po sinabi ko kanina, no? Na yung kanyang shelf life, ang shelf life po nito no, is 2 years. Pakitandaan, 2 years po ang shelf life nito basta nakastore at 1 to 6 degrees Celsius. So kailan po ba kailangan i-administer ang ROGAM? So kailangan pong i-administer no, ang ROGAM after childbirth, 72 hours after childbirth. And ano po ba yung antibodies na makikita natin sa ROGAM? Yun po yung mga IgG po, IgG na anti-D. And our HIG or ROGAM has 2 primary uses. So treatment po ano, yung treatment ng ITP and prevention po ng hemolytic disease of the fetus and newborns. So meron po tayong full dose no and microdose. So pag full dose, 300 micrograms ng ROGAM, kapag microdose naman, 50 micrograms lang po ng ROGAM. So ito po, meron tayong situation dito. If an Rh negative woman recently delivered an Rh positive baby and the Clay-Heyer-Bethke test result is 5%. So how many vials of Rh immunoglobulin should be administered? So yun po yung question ng gaano raw po kadaming vials kung ibibigay natin doon sa may pasyente. So yung formula po natin dito, the formula for this one is FMH is equal to percentage of the fetal cell divided by 100 times 5,000 times 5,000. So ito po yung formula natin, no? So FMH is equal to percentage of the fetal cell. Ilang percent po? 5% yung fetal cell divided by 100 times 5,000. So 5 times 5,000 divided by 100 is equal to 250. 250. So after po nun, yung 250 na yan, kailangan po nating i-divide. I-divide po natin yan sa 30. Pakitandaan, no? Kapag 30 po yung gagamitin natin, kapag whole blood yung ginamit. Pero kapag packed red blood cell, kapag packed red blood cell po yung ginamit, 15 po yung ating gagamiting denominator to divide sa 250. So dito po sa may question, no, hindi po natin alam kung whole blood po ba or packed red blood cell. So gagamitin po natin yung whole blood. So whole blood po. So 250 divided by 30 is equal to 8.333. 8.333. Or kapag ni-round off po natin, 8. So ibig sabihin, kailangan po nating mag-administer, no? Kailangan po nating mag-administer ng 8 vials po ng RHIG. Pero hindi pa po dyan tapos yun. Kasi yung 8 na yan, para ma-make sure po natin na lahat ng antibodies po is manuneutralize, kailangan po nating mag-add ng 1. So again, always po kailangan nating mag-add palagi ng 1 for protection purposes. So again, always add an additional vial for protection purposes. So 8 plus 1 is equal to 9. So 9 po yung kailangan na vials na i-administer. So 8 vials of the RhoGAM. So again, kailangan pong mag-add ng 1, no, ng add 1 vial para po for protection purposes. Okay, for transfusion reaction, so what may be found in the serum of a person who is exhibiting signs of TRALI? So makakakita po tayo dyan ng mga anti-leukocyte antibodies. Okay, additional recall from March 2023. So dyspnea, headache, and edema of the periphery are signs of what transfusion reaction? So lahat po yan signs po ng TACO. Lahat po yan signs ng TACO. So ano po ba yung TACO? Yan po yung transfusion-associated circulatory overload. So ito po yung mga signs and symptoms ng TACO. We have dyspnea, orthopnea, systolic hypertension, headache, peripheral edema, and coughing, even cyanosis. Yan po yung transfusion-associated circulatory overload. So we have additional recall. So copied question po ito from HOR. Kernicterus is caused by the effect of unconjugated bilirubin. So this is from HOR po marami pong copy-paste questions sa HOR. Kernicterus occurs because of high levels of unconjugated bilirubin and high levels of this pigment cross into the central nervous system, causing brain damage to the infant. And what can be done if the hemolytic disease of the fetus and newborn is caused by maternal anti-K? So ang gagawin po natin is to monitor the mother's antibody level. So again, board exam recall question na copy-paste po from HOR. Anti-D is the only antibody for which prevention of HDNF is possible. And if a pregnant woman develops anti-K, kailangan po natin siyang i-monitor to determine if the antibody level and signs of the fetal distress necessitate clinical intervention. And ito po yung ating mga transfusion reaction. So we have the febrile non-hemolytic transfusion reaction. We have the allergic, anaphylactic, anaphylactoid, TRALI, transfusion-associated graft-versus-host disease, and the post-transfusion purpura. So nakalagay na po dito na yung mga must-know information about sa mga transfusion reactions na to, pati na rin po yung prevention and treatment. So pakibasa na lang po ito yung mga transfusion reaction. Okay, next slide po tayo. Okay, we have the TACO, bacterial contamination, and iron overload. So yung TACO nga po yung nababas no, last March 2023. So bacterial contamination, yung most common cause po ng death, no, Yersinia enterocolitica, according po yan sa CDC. Pero sino po yung second most common? Ang second most common is the Pseudomonas species. Pseudomonas species. So common isolate of human skin and was the most common bacterial contaminant in the red blood cell, yan po si Propionibacterium acnes po o si Cutibacterium acnes. Yan po nakalagay po was the most common bacterial contaminant in the red blood cell. Ibig sabihin, dati. Pero ngayon, hindi na po siya yung most common. Kasi yung most common na, Yersinia enterocolitica. And yung most frequently recovered from donated blood and contamination of platelets, ibig sabihin po sa room temperature, we have Bacillus cereus, and Staphylococcus epidermidis. Staphylococcus epidermidis. Yan po yung mga most frequently recovered from donated blood and contamination of platelets. So additional recall, so copied question pa rin from her. A major cross-match and screening cells are 2 plus at the immediate spin and 1 plus at 37 degrees Celsius. At negative naman po sa IAT phase. So identify the most likely problem. So for this one, possible po na meron pong cold alloantibodies. And according po sa ating reference na si Har, the reaction pattern fits that of a cold antibody reaction. And at the immediate spin phase, enough sufficient titer to persist at 37 degrees Celsius of incubation, the reaction disappear in the IAT phase. And ito po mga must-know information po ito. Ilang beses na rin pong may lumalabas dito sa board exam. So pakiaral po yung mga possible causes kung bakit nagne-negative sa lahat ng mga reagents, bakit nagpa-positive ba sa anti-A, tapos merong reaction naman sa E1 cells. Dapat kasi kapag positive sa anti-A, dapat magne-negative sa E1 cells. So dito, bakit kaya nagkaroon ng positivity sa E1 cells kung 4 plus naman sa anti-A? So pakibasa po yung possible cause and yung resolution. Ganun din po sa ating second slide about this one. So paki-copy na lang po ito, yung mga possible cause and their resolution. So mas know po ito sa board exam. And next slide na po. Ito po naulit lang po ito yung E1 with potent anti-age. Naulit lang po siya. And meron tayong mga ABO discrepancies. So yung group 1, ito po yung mga causes po ng mga weakly reacting or missing antibodies. Then group 2, weakly or reacting missing antigens naman. Again, makatandaan kapag group 1, may nawawalang antibodies. Kapag naman group 2, may nawawalang antigens. Weakly or reacting antigens. And sa group 3 naman po, abnormal resulting to RELU. And for group 4, we have miscellaneous. Ito po yung ating mga miscellaneous causes. And that's it for our immunology, serology, and blood banking mastery session. So if you have any questions or concerns, so open po yung ating messenger for your question. So thank you so much po sa pakikinig and have a good day.